Hi everybody, and welcome to my channel where I talk about movies. Before I begin my discussion today, I need to recognize, celebrate the fact that my channel won over 2,000 subscribers last week. I waited a bit because sometimes I lose subscribers, but I think I'm safely over that now to celebrate the event. It's been quite an adventure. I'm in my 6th year on YouTube. I never thought anything like this would have ever happened. It's been one of the great experiences of my retirement years. I'm thankful for everybody who has subscribed, who watches my videos, especially to my viewers who leave comments, because I love to get comments, and I do get some great comments. So today, I'm going to continue on with my series on Luis Bunuel, one video per movie of his filmography. Before I start that, I want to just show briefly another new book I got on Luis Bunuel. It's an old book from 1974, I believe it was published. This is written by Raymond Durgnat, who is one of the great film critics of all time, especially in the 1960s and 70s. He wrote for all the film magazines at the time, and he's a very clear, he has original ideas which he expresses very clearly. This is a terrific book for anybody who's interested in delving deeper into the filmography of Luis Bunuel. So today, the movie I wanted to talk about is The Exterminating Angel. This comes from 1962. It's starring Sylvia Pinal in a very small role. Where does the title come from? Well, I'm going to reveal the title because I've read lots of books about where the title comes from, but none of them have. Francisco Aranda's book clearly states that this is from a painting. I don't know if you can see it too well. A painting from, what is it, Vargas Leal. That was an angel with claws, fingers descending upon earth. There is no angel, though, in The Exterminating Angel. This is a film of surrealism. This is Bunuel's most surrealistic film since his first two early films that he made in the late 20s and 1930s. I watched The Andalusian Dog, which was his first film. I think it was 1928 with Salvador Dali, with all kinds of surrealistic images. Highly recommended. It's on YouTube. It's on Canopy. And then you can draw. And then he made L'Âge d'Or, which is his most famous surrealistic film, and the film that his whole reputation was based on during all his struggles before he was able to make films in Mexico in the late 40s. So you can draw a curved line from L'Âge d'Or all the way to The Exterminating Angel, because here Bunuel has the freedom to expand upon all his surrealistic ideas in a very strange, mysterious story, a story about a gathering of the bourgeoisie as they come home from a performance at an opera. There's going to be a dinner party. There's like 20 guests coming to this dinner party. We know that something strange is up because all the servants, one by one, are leaving the mansion. They prepared the meal, everything is set to go, the tables are set, and then they all decide to leave. They have no explanation. They don't know. Are you ready to go? We go. The hostess confronts a couple of them as they're leaving. They imploring them to stay, and they said, no, we have to go. I'm sorry, but we're going. So only the major domo stays for this big dinner party, which does happen, and then the group retire to the salon to listen to a piano performance. They have come from an opera. The conductor of the opera is there. The pianist is there from the opera. All the people are amongst the elite of Mexico City's wealthy classes. But then there's a snag because when it's time to leave, nobody's leaving. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. The host and hostess say to us, what's wrong with these people? How come nobody's leaving? It's impolite. This isn't the way people act. And then some people try to leave, but they can't leave. There's some sort of invisible barrier that is between the hallway and the salon in which they are now entrapped. They cannot leave. The day goes by, they still cannot leave. Friends and family are worried. They gather outside. The police are there, the press are there. Why aren't the people coming out? Well, why aren't they going in? Well, there's the same barrier that is obstructing their entrance through the gateway itself into the mansion. So along the way, we get so many great Bunuel surrealistic touches as the ability of these people mentally to deal with what they're going through. There's no food, no water. They have to really use their wits to try to survive it all. The days then become weeks, and still they have not been able to escape from their entrapment. So there's illness, there's suicide, there's people are starting to turn on each other. They're employing God, all kind of mystical entities. Nobody comes to save them. So how does Bunuel work himself out of this situation? A kind of Twilight Zone type situation. Twilight Zone I've mentioned many times because that was really the surrealism of 1950s television in America. And I won't give the ending because it's very surprising, and I find it very satisfying, the ending. But then the actual ending of the film is even better. This was that late addition that Bunuel added to. And one thing I've discovered in going through all these Bunuel films is that Bunuel was really good at providing satisfying endings. Perplexing to be sure, but nevertheless in a way satisfying and funny. There's a lot of comic elements. It sounds like a situation where there would be no comedy. That's not the case. So many funny touches. Turn up a crawling hand. And I watched The Andalusian Dog from 1928, and there was a crawling hand in that short film. And then when Bunuel was in Hollywood, he was working on a screen treatment for a horror film, and he included a crawling hand. And it did, I can't remember the name of the horror film, but it does turn up in the in the final film. So there's comedy, there's no explanation. And if you go into Bunuel's film searching for explanations, you're going to be disappointed. Bunuel loved the mysteries of life, the inexplicable of life, the unconscious. He thought that people desired explanation was a fault of bourgeois education. It's the mystery that we should focus on, the mysteries in life, the surrealism that we can find in real life. Because this, even though this is surrealism, does have a crawling hand. Everything looks real. We almost become implicated in the proceedings. It's a very claustrophobic movie, and we're right in there with the characters. And there's other surreal elements here. There's sheep and a tame bear. The hostess was famous for surprising her guests with things they would have never expected. So the sheep become a significant element in the film, and the bear. There's a very funny scene where they're looking out into the hallway in the grand staircase of this magnificent mansion, and they see the bear climbing up and down the stairway where they're staring out at this bear forlornly. So Bunuel had originally planned this to be filmed in London. He always wanted to make. One of the things that he disliked about making films in Mexico was he didn't think he had a very good supply of actors. The actors weren't really all that good. He was always disappointed in them. Now, Sylvia Pinal is in this film, who is Viri Diana, and she's also in Simon of the Desert. But these are all small roles, so she's the star, but she's probably one of the most significant characters in the movie. But it was just too much money. He wanted he called the English actors elegant. He wanted more elegant actors to work with. Sylvia Pinel's husband was a producer. He produced Viridiana and Simon the Desert, and he was quite a character. He just loved all the prestige that he and his Bunuel films were getting all around the world. And Bunuel, this was a expansion of a treatment of a film called The Castaways of Providence Street. It was going to be a short film as part of an omnibus, and then Bunuel expanded it, and his Sylvia Pinel's husband read the script, and when he was done, he said, "I don't understand anything that's happening in this film, but it's magnificent." So Bunuel had this freedom, and so you want to see Bunuel untethered. This is Exterminating Angel is one of the ones that you want to see. Of course, he did go on to have a great deal of freedom in all the other films, the subsequent films that he made for the rest of his film career. So the reception was very good all around the world. It didn't win any of the major awards at the Cannes Film Festival, but people liked it. Some didn't. Some didn't like it. It was just too weird, too bizarre. No explanation. What does it all mean? They didn't see the comedy in it, which Bunuel certainly, Bunuel felt like he was making comedies. But not everybody saw it that way. Bosley Crowther, it played at the New York Film Festival in '63. It was not released in America, though, until 1968. And Bosley Crowther, New York Times, although he admired the film, he thought, well, no, it's just not developed enough. In other words, we don't get any explanation here. But certainly Bunuel, and the influence, too, that Exterminating Angel had. Bunuel had become a darling of the French New Wave critics by this time, and Jean Godard says that that Exterminating Angel was a direct influence on his film Weekend. And there are other films, castaway type films, where the rich are on a desert island, say the Admiral Crichton, where the butler, played by Kevin Moore in that film, when they're cast onto a desert island, they don't know how to do anything. So they rely on Kevin Moore's know-how, his ingenuity to survive. And there's another film, recent film, called The Triangle of Sadness, in which a yacht gets blown up, a very luxuriant yacht with lots of servants, and several of the rich people on board are cast away on an island with one of the lowest servants on this yacht. And of course, they too don't know what to do. They have no know-how. They don't know how to survive at all. But this servant does, and they're totally reliant on her in order to survive. Now, that was directed by Ruben Östlund, and I think there's a very direct line from Bunuel to Östlund. He is really a descendant of a kind of Bunuel type surrealism. And so those films, excuse me, have a class element to them. The Major Domo is part of the entrapped people in here, and he does try to provide some help, but Bunuel's not really interested in painting a picture of the class struggle, so to speak. This is just pure on surrealism with no explanation for what has happened, and really no explanation for their release. As part of the film too, there's lots of repetitions in it. Bunuel says there's 20 repetitions in it. I've only spotted a couple of them. One of them is very obvious. When the guests arrive, there's no servant to take care of their coats, and so they all march up this grand staircase. They're being watched by two of the servants who are trying to escape, so they're hiding. And then as they go back to the door to escape, here they come again. Bunuel repeats the shot. He says there's some minor differences in that shot, but these kind of repetitions occur throughout the film. So the idea being that I'm trying to convey is this is a very rich film, and hopefully, and considered by many one of Bunuel's best films. It did make the BFI list only in the 100s. I don't think Bunuel had any film in the top 100s in the latest BFI Sight and Sound poll. I think Lodge Door and Viridiana are the other two that made it. So it is at least somewhat standing the test of time. It's just an amazing film that I highly recommend. Thanks a lot for everybody who managed to listen. I do appreciate it. Comments are welcome. Take care.